All right. Welcome once again back on the fourth Sunday. It's Rob, it's Rich. I've got my guy on the West Coast, Mr. Selah Blak. So we are back again with another episode.
Yes, sir.
Free Thought Society. What's happening, my man? How you doing?
Hey, what's happening, man? Hey, man, you know what's going on this end, bro. You know what I'm saying? Enjoying the sunshine. And get my mental right. You know what I'm saying? I've been focused on this topic, man, all month, bro. I'm excited about this show, man. I'm excited about today's show.
Me too, man. And it's funny because it's like every week we try to get off of the mental health, but we end up coming back to it. And it's like it's calling us. It's like it's calling us to work on this, man. We got to chop it up. And it's real. That's the honest goodness truth, man, is that as many times as we try to go a different route and bring up other topics, man, we fall back on the mental health because it's something that we all deal with on a daily basis. And the crazy part is some people deal with it and don't even know it. That's the crazy part. They don't even realize that they're, you know. So we're just gonna jump right in, man. We're not gonna waste no time, and I feel like we've got a lot to cover in a short amount of time. So we're just gonna get right to it, man. Last time that we were on, we had my guy Symbolic. Shout out to Symbolic out there doing this thing on Compton. But Symbolic, he blessed us with a perspective, you know, and that's a passionate guy right there, man. I love that dude, man. We've been able to keep in contact since the show, man, and he's progressing like you wouldn't believe. So it's important that we keep tabs on each other, man. That's brothers, you know, because who's gonna look out for you when you need somebody to talk to? Who do you call? I think that's yeah, it's something that we need, man. And I didn't intend to, you know, to make a friend, but you know, just having them on the show, man, it really did. It helped me to see that I'm not the only one that deals with this stuff undercover. You know, it's funny because Lisa sent us a quote, and it was from the heavyweight champ Tyson, not Mike Tyson, but the other Tyson. I'll forget his last name. But he was like, you know, hey, man, you don't know what's going on in my mind. I'm walking down the street. I look like a regular guy, but you don't know what I'm dealing with in my mind. And that resonated with me because we all have stuff that we deal with, and we stress, and stress can be, stress can come out in different forms. You know, stress can have, it can play a role in your life in different forms, and it could be overeating, it could be obsessiveness with whether it be working out, shopping, whatever you can do to ease that pain. And so I just want to put a little
out of negative ways as well too.
Like what?
Man, like some people who are stressed out that don't know how to, you know, manage it wisely, they take it out on other people, you know, be it friends, family, the children. They become angry, bitter, you know, people, they become dangerous to themselves, you know what I'm saying? So it's a flip side too. You know, some people they do want to spend their money when they get stressed out, or they overeat. But then you got those that hurt other people in the process. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we're still on this topic. And for those that's just tuning in today for the first time, y'all can catch us every fourth Sunday, 3-4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's the West Coast, or 6 to 7 p.m. on the Eastern Coast. On the East Coast, my bad, Eastern Standard Time. Every first Sunday. Rob, it's Rich, Selah Blak Soul, man. Free Thought Society. Thank y'all again for tuning in. If this is your first time, if you've been with us, we thank y'all so much for your consistency in this matter at hand with mental health and relationship building. And Rob, man, thank you for this platform, bro, for being my, my sidekick on this journey, bro. We really, you and I together, man, I believe that, we can reach a lot of people, man. And touch a lot of souls and a lot of hearts and change a lot of people through what we bring in, man. We just want to bring simple dialogue, simple conversation about where we at in life as real people, as real human beings. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like social media and other outlets have put a shadow on that and really put that in the back burner on what really matters. You know what I'm saying? And I want this platform right here to resonate with those who, want to be able to be free mentally, and physically and spiritually. You know what I'm saying? It all starts with the mind first. You get your mind right, everything else will follow.
Man, that's so true. So true. You get your mind right, everything else will follow. It's a really simple thing. It's funny because I used to run track and my coach would tell me, what you're trying to do is easy. I just want to jump far. I want to run fast. What you're trying to do is easy, but it's not simple. And if you understand that, you'll get it, that there's steps to this, man. I mean, it's easy to say I want to be happy, but there's steps to it. There's levels to it, and there's progressions that need to be made in order to even get to the next step. And sometimes, just fighting yourself. Sometimes we're in our own way, So this is going to be a big one, man. I've got a special guest that's going to join us. After our first little break, man, we're going to have a special guest, Mr. Nathan Dreggers. I won't even really get into who he is right now because this guy's made an incredible transformation. But we're going to bring him in when we come back from our first little, I guess you want to call it a interlude here, because we need to give some credit to the producers that make this music, man. Y'all don't be realizing I make all these tracks. All the tracks that you hear, all the instrumentals, man, this is us. And Selah, I got some of your music that's gonna pop up on this show too, man, because we really wanna bring light to the things that we're doing as men. A lot of times we don't get that credit, don't get that recognition, and we do things and we put our work in and nobody even knows. And that also has an adverse effect on you mentally, because you put work in and you go hard and you try to get that recognition, and sometimes it don't come the way you want it, and how do you fight that? How, because sometimes you'll get sad. You'll feel like, oh, maybe I'm not doing things to the best of my ability, or maybe I'm done with this rap stuff. It's not catching on like I wanted it to. So you have to be very, very careful about how you see yourself. Not only that, how you project yourself to the world. So being cognizant of how you project yourself and how other people see you sometimes can cause issues in the mind. So we want to make sure that we're putting that spotlight affect us on a daily basis, because it's hard to talk to. It's hard to talk about.
That's real.
It is, man. It's hard to talk about things sometimes because you can't even really get into that emotional space, you know. So it's crazy, man. But we are listening to Hot Words, Hot Topics. This is Free Thought Society, Blog Talk Radio. We got to jump into our first track so y'all can hear a little bit of the dopeness that we got going on. And when we come back, we're going to bring my man Nathan Dreggers on the mic and let's talk face of what we have. This is Free Thought Society. Everyone, tune in, listen up, brother. All right. Welcome back. We are back broadcasting from sunny South Carolina. I'm in Greenville. Selah, where you at, man?
Man, I'm in beautiful San Diego, California, man. You know how I get down.
Beautiful San Diego, California. Well, I got a guest that I want to bring to the microphone, man. This guy right here, man, he's only a short trip from me down in Atlanta, Georgia, but Nathan Dreggers, the creator of EIM Creates. He's got his own multimedia company down in Atlanta doing big things, and I can't wait to be a part. I'm going to have to take that short drive real soon, my brother Nathan. Are you on the line?
I am.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, man, great to be here. Glad to be a part of Free Thought Society, Hot Words, Hot Topics. Man, this is a great day, and always talking about men's mental health awareness. And spreading the message of how we can get better and also support, be more empathetic, compassionate, and unified as we move forward together as men, as anyone who is battling with mental health issues. Is always a great thing.
Absolutely. Always a great thing. It's not enough of us out here, man. And the longer I've been, really diving into this topic, man, the more I see there's not a whole lot of support. So it's awesome to be able to connect with people across the country like this. to get that kind of support and get that well-needed guidance, just to be able to help somebody kind of navigate those same treacherous waters. You know, everybody doesn't know where to go and how to get there, to find that peace. So that's a part of why I wanted you to be on the show today, Nathan, because I want you to kind of give us an idea of what you've been through, how you were able to overcome it, more importantly, and because you've overcome it in a grand way. And I just really want you to share your story with us, man. You've got the mic, my brother.
Absolutely. I'll be glad to. Nathan Michael Dreggers, born out of Atlanta, OG original Grady baby. My story starts at birth. I was born with a genetic illness passed to me by a parent, celiac disease, which is, of course, an autoimmune illness that destroys your development as a child, impacts you greatly, especially the longer that you live with it and don't know that you're not supposed to eat gluten. So I grew up, struggled in school, failed terribly at a lot of things all through school, barely graduated, got out into the world and faced several trials, homelessness, jail, instability, couldn't keep relationships, couldn't keep jobs, all of that. And around 2010 to 2012, I went to college, became a 4.0 college student, and afterwards I got married. At the beginning of my marriage, my health collapsed entirely. I already knew that there were things wrong for years. Since about 2005, I started to read articles about autism and other things. I was suffering from severe depression all the time, drug addiction, alcoholism, everything. My life was just unbalanced and stable to the max. And I went to the doctors one day, and they told me, back in 2012, they were like, actually 2013 to be more precise, they were like, Mr. Dreggers, all the systems in your body are fighting for which one's going to shut off first. Now, by the time I had reached this point, I had suffered over 15 years of abuse, verbal, sexual, physical, beat every day. My parents were just never took me to a doctor to find out what was going on with me. They just continued to punish me and beat me, and not beat me in the traditional sense of, a parent just disciplining you. But my father, had roid rage from medicine that doctors had loaded him up with that were full of steroids at a time that they didn't realize what road rage, what steroid rage was. And he was a former martial arts teacher. So he's a very powerful man. He broke boards and bricks and stuff with his head and hands. And, would just lose it. My mother the same. She struggled with mental illness. And I come from a medical family, which is kind of ironic because I have family members that work with the mentally ill, and nobody stopped, even knowing that we have mental illness in our family. I tried to commit suicide, and my mother saved her, all of that. So by this time in 2013, I find out I'm dying. All the systems in my body are fighting for which one's going to shut off first. I lost all my jobs right at the beginning of my marriage, a wife and 2 kids to support. I had 2 great jobs. I was killing it, driving new cars off the lot. Like, life was good, and I lost everything in the blink of an eye. Started to deteriorate to the point that I was an audio engineer, musician, performing artist, graphic designer, and I started waking up every day, couldn't use the keyboard, type anymore, didn't know how to use the computer. My mind started blanking everything out. I didn't know my music. Data just gone. I just started going into a cycle of where I'd wake up and it would be what don't I have now? My multiplication tables are gone. This is gone, and everything in my body was shutting off. that same week, I learned that I was dying on a Monday. My mother called me on that Friday to tell me she was battling stage 4 breast cancer. And so it has been a long and arduous journey from 2013 to now, because in 2013, I found that my body, because of celiac disease, because I never had medical care, because I had the wrong diet, so many nutritional deficiencies, celiac had developed into other illnesses. So by the time I actually figured out everything that I was dealing with, I had racked up 10-plus fatal illnesses that had no cure. The doctors did not think that I was ever going to make it, and I battled death. I battled my spine collapsing due to my own kidneys overproducing adrenaline 24 hours a day, to where my own spine was crushed by my own muscles out of alignment. So I spent a few years crippled and disabled. I didn't have good medical care. I didn't have anybody to look after me. So it just made everything much more harder. And I found through that whole process, I broke all the way down to being bedridden, barely able to move, barely able to do anything. And I realized from my bed that I still had a fighting chance, that as long as I still had some of my mind, as long as there was something of me left, that you could strip me down, you could take away my art, you could take away my ability to do music, you could take everything from me, but you couldn't stop me. And that is, if I was to say to anybody, that is first and foremost battling, because I do live with 6 mental disorders. I have bipolar disorder, I have civilian PTSD, but when they diagnosed me with civilian PTSD, they asked me, was I ever in the military? I had to explain to them, no, I wasn't. They were like, well, Mr. Dreggers, you have the worst case of civilian PTSD we have ever seen in our life. We would actually classify you as military grade because you suffer the same extremities from PTSD that prisoners of war and people who have been to war suffer as a civilian, and we don't know what to do to help you. So I spent years going to doctors finding out that throwing their hands up, like, we don't know what to do for you. And the biggest thing that I would say to anybody is the first thing that you can do is not give up on yourself. To stand firm in knowing that it is very difficult, and as you were saying earlier about getting your mind right, when the mind itself is actually sick, it takes a lot for someone to actually be able to get to a point of stability, to be able to take back their own mind, to take back their own thoughts. And it's not ever going to be a nonstop process. With most mental illnesses, especially in men, we don't get a lot of support. We don't get a lot of education on it. We don't know what we're going through. We bottle everything up inside because of society's toxic stereotypes and standards that are placed upon us, and we need to strip those away. Men do need to be allowed to break down. They do need to be afforded help to be built back up, just as much as women and children are, and all of the systems that we have out there are aimed at women and children, and as a man, you can't get any help. So the first thing that I really had to do, once I really started this journey, was address my nutritional and dietary health. One major thing is about American diet, our Western diets, are that I would say this. We often say, and it's funny that when I started this journey, people would tell me, like, man, it's so expensive, everything that you have to buy now and eat. You have such a limited things about stuff that you eat. And that's such a big misconception. When you cut out a lot of processed and garbage out of your life, and you cut bread out of your life, that does not mean that you can't eat anything. There's a plethora of food on this planet that you can still have. Yes, it is expensive, but I can definitely attest that your medical expenses are way more expensive than you investing in your diet. Often we will, as men, we need to be more conscious of the fact that we invest our knowledge and our application of seeking finding in the wrong areas. We will research technology, cars, women, whatever our success, wealth, all of those things. We will comb through that and get all the data on that. The best shoes we want, the best phones we want, all of that. But what we put in our body we don't take the time to care about doing the research on how much of a thing you can eat, how little how less of it you should have, what the negative and positive effects of it are. And with mental illness, all mental illnesses cause a deficiency in areas of the body and the brain that especially the brain itself needs. Now, with bipolar disorder, one of the major issues that affects it is B12 deficiency. So by not having enough B12 in your diet already, the areas of your brain that process data and help you think logically and rationally are now depleted. So therefore, you are more prone and more susceptible and, vulnerable to episodes of depression and mania, and psychotic breaks and psychosomatic symptoms. When we eat certain foods, there are certain foods that actually trigger mental illness and cause other illnesses and diseases in our bodies that we just don't need to overload ourselves. So it's the first thing that I had to do to address saving myself was my diet, my nutritional deficiency, exercising. I had to rebuild myself back up from having my spine collapse, and I did. I now walk. I've been through a lot. I've been in and out of, my marriage ended, and I suffered a stage 3 psychotic episode that ended my marriage and sent me to Grady on suicide watch. I spent days on the 13th floor staring out a window in a gown, just zoned out. And, the worst thing about that experience, about any of this experience, has been how little support I have had from friends, from family, from anyone who actually says that they love me. I've suffered through everything my entire life alone. As men, we should not have to live that way. Even as men to men, brothers to brothers, we have to stop pushing each other away. We have to stop being toxic in the fact of, you can't lean on me, brother. You can't cry in front of me. You can't express yourself. You just have to be a man. You just have to suck it up. You just have to deal with it. Go on and get it done. That's not the way to live life. Hey, look, we're human. All of us. Respectfully, there is nobody here who is not experiencing things different. If I cut you, you bleed. If you cut me, I bleed, right? So if you cut me emotionally, if you hurt me psychologically, do I not scar? Do I not bleed? Do I not hurt the same for you? So that would be...
big. I want to stop you right there, because that's huge, man. For you to be able to say, hey, you know what? You've done something to me that you can't even see, and I'm affected. Do you not know how, you've affected me by saying these things, by being this way, by not being here when I needed you? These are the conversations that have to be had. Have to.
Indeed.
I mean, it's crazy that you say that you've been through all of that stuff and you did it alone. For all the people that said they loved you and cared about you, nobody showed up to be by your side. And I feel like that's a part of our new responsibility. Being able to speak up for the unheard and appear for the missing. I want to be able to be that shoulder, that you can rely on.
And the fact that you're still here, bro, says a lot. The fact that you're still here, bro, says a lot about your mental strength. You know what I'm saying? Even though when you was going through your situations, you know what I'm saying, you still held on to something. And that something you held on to brought you to this very day right here. You know what I'm saying? So you are strong to what you think. You know what I mean? You being here on the show talking about where you came from is a testament to that. And for anybody listening, you know what I'm saying, I hope you're listening with intent, that, because you are here right now at this very moment hearing these words or expressing yourself to somebody else, you know what I'm saying, shows how strong you are mentally, and you can keep going. Just like you said, you know, one foot in front of the other, taking one day at a time, you know. And brother, I commend you, man. Much power to you. But
if you don't mind me making a correction, not stronger than I think, I am as strong as I think.
Ooh, big. Put that in quotes.
For as you think, therefore you are. That's as simple as it goes. That's why I mentioned don't give up on yourself. Don't allow for the illness to use you. Don't allow for what has happened to you to use you. Don't allow other people's opinions or words or deeds or actions to use you. You are still you. God is still with you. God is still within you. And the biggest thing that I could say to anybody is greater is the God that is in you than the gods that we make of our problems, situations, circumstances, trials, tribulations, sufferings, and pain.
Man.
That's real.
That's big. That's huge. And on that note, we'll be right back. This is Free Thought Society with Selah Black Soul, Rob is Rich, and my man Nathan Dreggers. Stay tuned. All right. Free Thought Society, we are back. Rob is Rich, Selah Blak Soul, my man Nathan Dreggers. Got a question for you, Nathan, because this is something that I've always wanted to know. How do you deal with somebody new in your life that inadvertently opened up an old wound? They take you back to that place, or they do something that reminds you of something that happened to you. How do you overcome and deal with someone new in your life that has taken you back to an old space? Are you able to answer that?
I am. The biggest thing that you first must do is before you enter into any relationship or start building with anybody, because there's a passage in the Bible that says a man that didn't count the cost failed to build what he was trying to build, and everybody laughed at him. And the point of the story was count the cost. So as men, we have to count the cost. If we're builders, then we have to know what it takes to build something. Therefore, you cannot build anything with anyone else till you first build yourself, which means that you must stop, do the therapy, go get the help, go get the meds, do journaling, do the grounding techniques, do everything that you must do, meditate, pray, exercise, eat good, heal yourself, before you start trying to build anything with anybody else. The second thing to know is that when you do start to build with anybody, if you start making that connection, you have to be very upfront, first and foremost. And a lot of us move very fast in relationships, so I would advise anybody to first and foremost, as a man, commit to be a friend first. See how this person is as a friend, because you shouldn't want to be with anybody who will lose track or sight or the knowledge and the view of you as a friend. We can achieve any other title that we want in this world, husband, wife, all of that stuff. We forget that we're friends, and we lose everything. So first and foremost, build on a friendship, and then see how they treat you as a friend, because a real friend, no matter what you're going through, is going to be there. We often rush into relationships and find that when we need people most, they're not really there. So the other thing, too, is like I learned from being a father that my sons didn't know what to expect from me, and they communicated like, hey, look, we don't know what you expect, and just because you expect it to be this way, like, we don't know that. So you being upset or hurt or disappointed is a difficult thing for us to understand how to adjust to, because we are not you. We don't know your expectations. And I had to learn at that point, nobody does. How you move, how you love, how you think, the thing, and the reasons for that need time to be laid out with another person, so and for them to be able to process it, for them to ingrain it, for them to learn it, for them to know you. But you can't bring anybody into you if you don't know you first. So I would say that even when you are triggered, because I was just in a relationship where there were things that were happening that unfolded old pains, and the best thing that you can do first and foremost is be honest with yourself in how you communicate with you. Take a step back before you rush in to communicating with your partner. Process it. Make sure that you're seeing the situation clearly, because mental illness does cause us to misperceive, to be confused, to jump and rush into emotions. So you take your time, even if it takes you a day, a week, a month, whatever, and you have to, come back to the person and say, hey, look, this happened. I took my time to think about it, clear my head, whatever. Like, do that. Because only fools rush in, and haste makes waste. So I would say that the biggest thing is just keeping your communication honest with yourself, keeping your communication honest with who you're with, and also being upfront. Break it down for the person. Let them know what triggers you, what affects you, what are your boundaries, what are you looking for in this relationship. I don't think that we have those talks enough as men. So I would say that, in our focus of giving women all that they want, remember what you want and need too, and that it's a negotiation. Put your terms on the table. That's what I would say.
That's good info. I always wonder too, like, are people receptive? You lay it out on the line for them and you tell them these things. Are they running away from you, or are they receptive, and are they understanding? And do they help? Do they consider the fact that you really did have some stuff that you had to deal with that has nothing to do with them, but the things that are happening to you, you still have to play it out how you play it out. You've got to do it the way that you understand best. Are people receptive to that, or are they end up pushing people away?
I've experienced being married and in many relationships, and even with my family, and even in this world, where I am punished for things that are beyond my control because of my illness, but I am not able to be afforded grace, mercy, and help. So the biggest approach to that I started to take was to reaffirm my faith, to pray every day, and to ask God for proper alignment. Because anything that God moves out of your way is out of your way. Any person that he moves out of your way is out of your way. If they run from you, they were never for you in the first place. Someone that loves you will love you unconditionally and be strong and be right there by your side. Those that are fake, they will fade away. They will pass, and God will take them out of your path. And it doesn't take much to test that. Just by being open and communicating, when I sit down with a person, I'll say, I have these many illnesses. This is what affects me. This is what happens to me. All of this. I do all that up front. And if they bounce, good. I didn't waste any time. I do it up front. So it's like, hey, before you go any further.
About that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to dealing with people, you know what I'm saying, it's also our duty and our responsibility to maintain the relationships we get into. You know what I'm saying? We make the ultimate decision whether this person will stay in our life or we're going to kick them out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men, you know what I'm saying, alongside with the mental illness, I will say, we put ourselves, so just people in general, we put ourselves in situations where we don't take charge over those situations by relieving ourselves from them. You know what I'm saying? We give it time after time after time, our attention, in hopes that it'll change. So for you, when you recognize when you're in some turmoil in any relationship, did you remove them from your life, or did you try to keep them there to try to make peace with it? How did you go about that?
When you say turmoil, do you mean if I am going through illness
they're treating you wrong, they're disrespecting you, do you allow it? How did you get them out of your life? Did you wait till they remove yourself, or did you remove them from your life?
Well, about it is that it can be a tricky thing, in the sense that mental illness, it does its own thing. So there have been many times when I was not in my right mind and would, just let people stay even though they were hurting me. And there was times in clarity, especially with bipolar disorder, you go through mania, depression, and clarity. People think that you only go through hot, cold, happy, sad. That's not how it works. It's a threefold phase of where you actually do get periods of clarity in between mania and depression. And so in times when I begin to utilize the clarity, I begin to prepare myself for how to move better in my mania and my depression. Now, if I'm with somebody like my ex-wife or a relationship, I will communicate to them where things are affecting me. I will ask for help where I need help. And if I don't see that I'm getting it or anything like that, then yes, I will isolate. The best thing for anybody with mental health issues is go where you are being respected and getting help. Do not stay where you're being triggered and made worse. So the biggest thing for us is to stop in our trauma, in our toxic coping mechanisms that we have developed from childhood and from painful relationships and all of that, allowing any old thing. I would say that the best thing to do is to let go and let God. I have had relationships where it wasn't going right. I stepped away. I wished them well. I prayed on it. I continue to pray for them now, and I continue to move and do my thing, because at the end of the day, you don't control who stays. That's a choice. If they want to go, let them go. If you if you're going to go ahead and kick them to the curb or show them the door, you control that, definitely. But if a person is really going to be with you, they're going to really be with you. If they're not, they're not. So the only person that you've got is you. That's it. Don't abandon and forsake yourself trying to hang on to everybody else that doesn't want to hang on to you in the first place.
Man, I wish I had an applause sound clip right now to applaud that, man. It's crazy. What's wild is I just ran through a quote I had written down. It says, if you continue to carry bricks from your past, you'll end up building the same house. If you continue to carry bricks from your past, you'll end up building the same house. So it's almost like you've got to get out of the past and into the moment. So can you understand, like, actually, this is really a question for Selah. Selah, do you know how to get out of your head, out of the past, the things that have happened? You are honestly I guess you are a product of your past, who you are now, but now going forward is going to produce the future you. So how do you deal with getting out of your own head so that way you can start to build that future you and stop carrying those old bricks to that old house?
How you get out of your own head, man, it's all about what you put into it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we like he said, we isolate ourselves with our thoughts in a room, literally, and keep other people from us. And by us keeping other people from our lives, you know what I'm saying, who could pour in those positive words and affirmations that we need to hear, we reject ourselves from that, and we close our minds to just our thoughts rather than opening a book, rather than, you know, finding things that encourage you, rather than getting into nature, things that you know, revitalizes you. And again, pouring into you rather than you trying to pour into a cup with an empty cup, because that's all we do when we put ourselves in isolation. So we have to first allow ourselves to be poured into by those who've been through it, be it an expert, someone who loves you, really cares for you. We have to also be willing to listen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our mental illnesses come from us not listening. You know what I'm saying? We think we know what we're doing, and then sometimes we bring those issues upon ourselves. So it comes that comes with growth, mentally, as well as spiritually. You know, it's all intertwined. First thing you have to do to get out of your head is you have to put something in that cup that is empty. Your mind, your spirit, it has become empty. That's why you're in that space. That's why you dry it out. So you take a cup that's full of words and life, that water that you need. You know what I'm saying? You find that vessel that's going to pour into you, or you pour into yourself. Books, seminars. You know, you got YouTube. We have all type of things around, so many things around us that we can tap into. So how I've been getting out of my own head is by pouring what I need to inside of it, you know, being open with people and being honest about where I'm at first and foremost, because we can't move. We can't make any changes unless we're honest with ourselves and where we at. I can't lie to myself for so much, you know what I mean? So if I can continue to do that, ain't nothing going to change. Got to be honest with me first and where I'm at in order to realize where I want to go, and allowing people to come into my life to actually make that happen for me and putting those things into place. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you mentioned those bricks. You're taking those bricks from the past, man. Bust some things up. You know what I'm saying? You got bricks in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You necessarily don't have to make another house, you know, with those bricks, metaphorically speaking. You can do anything. Again, it's all about being honest with yourself, opening up yourself to other people who've been there, or, you know what I'm saying, just simply going to therapy. That's how, in my definition, my opinion, that's how you get out of your own thoughts.
This past weekend, it was my girlfriend's birthday, and we went out to the cabins out in Tennessee, up in the mountains. And, you know, to be able to just get out of the city, that in itself was refreshing. And I started having different thoughts. It was like the environment started to produce a different aspect of me. So completely crazy, man. I want to invite all the callers. we got any callers out there, please make sure that you tap in 563-999-3742. Press option number 1 to get on the line. All callers. This is Free Thought Society every fourth Sunday. And plus, man, this is Hot Words, Hot Topics. This whole network has incredible self-help stuff on a daily. So you can find us out here on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, Fridays. I mean, pretty much something for every day. So please make sure you tap in because we've got Artist to Artist on first Sunday. That's going to be with Lisa Michelle. And she's got a special guest. And her special guest is Cat the Artist. So make sure you tap in on that on Sunday. And we've got The Return of My Life on first Tuesdays. That's hosted by Liz, LGB, the Poet. So you guys, man, you can find self-help. There's many avenues. Whether you're listening to talk radio, you're reading books, you're talking to people that love you and care about you, you know, or you're taking the time to spend time with yourself and connect with God. However you do it, you've got to do the work because nothing comes without that work. Man, I appreciate you, Nathan, showing up, man. Nathan Dreggers, much love.
Hey, brother, we got a caller coming in from ATL. Let's take this caller. Caller 6784. Speak your mind.
Yes, hello?
Can you hear me, brother? What's your name, man? Where you calling from? Atlanta, right? What part of Atlanta you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Norcross, just outside Atlanta.
Okay, word. What's your name again, brother?
Oh, my name is Adrian Johnson. I'm a lifelong friend of Nathan, actually.
Oh, dope, man. Welcome to have you. We're glad to have you to the show, man. Welcome.
What up, Adrian?
Thank you. Hey, what's up, Nate? You know I couldn't let this pass by with.
All right.
I just wanted
yeah, man. Just what? So, what did you want to talk about from the show, brother? Some key points.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Yes, sir. I just wanted to mention, as far as the topic of the show. First of all, just what you're discussing on here is absolutely needed. I think it's something that is actually neglected that people don't really discuss.
Right.
You know, in some ways, I feel like it's almost taboo as well. You know, and what you don't understand is that everything stems from, you know, having proper mental health. You know, especially as a creative, you know, that's the wellspring that so much of, you know, the quote unquote product comes from. You know, It's important to have that, you know, that straight, and just sometimes, you know, it can get cluttered for a myriad of reasons. Yeah.
And check this out, brother.
You know,
I know one thing we haven't touched on too on the show. I'm gonna tap it. I'm gonna throw it to you real quick. Mental health should start with our children. You know what I'm saying? We focus on it as adults right now, but we never talk about the children. We never talk about the children. We always talk about the adults. All right, if you're an adult listening in to the show and you have a child that you're raising right now, you focus on your mental health. Now let's turn the tables and focus on the mental health of our children so we don't keep repeating the same cycles of mental health from generation to generation. I would say from you to anyone listening, that's where we started. We start with the children. We start with ourselves first. And if you have children, feed it to them.
Absolutely, because it is generational. And whether people believe it or not, I do believe in some way it is transmuted, you know, from a parent to a child in whatever, you know, way that occurs. You know, I have 2 daughters myself, and I do have to be mindful of, you know, them as individuals, as people too, you know, so they're not just your children, but you also have to think of them in terms of these are going to be functioning people in society. So you want to hopefully instill in them the confidence, you know, just the proper things in place to hopefully equip them, you know, to be able to handle things that come up. I mean, you can't handle everything, but yeah, as a
awesome. This is like you said. This is all perfect. Oh, you were cutting out there, bro. We couldn't hear you for a second. So, man, this is all pertinent information. You know, all just a place for us to be able to dump this information here for all to hear. I want to continue this. I think this is something that we can't overlook. I want to thank you for coming onto the show, brother. Like you said, it's almost been taboo to speak about this type of stuff. We about to flip the tables on this thing because.
Do we have any more callers out there? We appreciate the caller from calling in, man. Thank you again, Nathan, for calling in, brother. Do we have any more callers? Press 1 if you're out there.
It's a golden time of day. Joy and pain are like sunshine and rain. I feel like Frankie running through this maze, so KC brought out the sunshine band. I ain't young and I ain't old, but I do know bands will make her dance. So get on up on the down low and join the Mothership Connection. The JB said we gotta pass the P's like we used to do. You gotta be careful though. Some of them smiling in your face cause all the time they wanna take your place and stab you in your back. So OJ told me that. But with the impressions I make, I gotta keep on pushing towards that ride with the diamond in the back. Sun rooftop so I can dig in the scene with the gangster lean. I gotta live my life cause Freddie's dead from pushing that dope from the pusher man. So move on up so you can be super fly. This ain't a fantasy, but with earth and wind I can make fire. These are my reasons for going to Boogie Wonderland in the middle of September. Do you understand my devotion?
Yes, somebody in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. There's a gangster in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. There's a queen in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. There's a king in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. There's a king in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. There's a king in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. Pick up your shield, pick up your sword, it's time to fight. We down there with the devil, you best bring your appetite. Surrounded by angels around my neck, be hematite. I can't get in unless you win, that's when you and I reunite. I recite, I can't get in unless you win, that's when you and I reunite. We the most honey, getting money, proof and honey. We the most honey, getting money, proof and honey. We the most honey, getting money, proof and honey. We the most honey, getting money, proof and honey. We the most honey, getting money, proof and honey. We the most honey, getting money, proof and honey. I try to tell these niggas about the queens and the green. Life ain't about everything that gleams and it bleeds. Nine glizzy with the beams. Bullets fit like straight hand. That chopper make you lay down and put a hem in your jeans. I got queens in my jeans. I got kings on my team. And when we touch down, we mix that brown with the green. And when we in town, we give the fiends what they need. That's that dope shit. Coming from my dope shit. Hit you with that dope shit. Yeah, that shit that potent. Got you wide open. Most honey, getting money, blue face honey. We the most honey, getting money, blue face honey. We the most honey, getting money, blue face honey. We the most honey, getting money, blue face honey. We the most honey, getting money, blue face honey. We the most honey, getting money, blue face honey. Solid my foundation, we're stepping out on God's purpose. Controlling my wheel, keep it steady on slippery surface. My past and my grind, you can try but can't rehearse it. Got that water in you, the definition what thirst is. My verse is, speak life to the dead inside. Where I reside, yeah, it takes some heart to stay alive. When I ride, better pack some heart, we down the ride. Prostration to elevation is key to my state of mind. In this state of mind, the bullshit I decline. Yeah, I face the shit, but I asinine to read between these rhymes, living life on the line. I can travel dimensions, defying odds, space and time. There's somebody in my bloodline trying to tell me something like. There's a gangster in my bloodline trying to tell me something like.
Yeah. Back again. Free Thought Society. Rob is Rich. Selah Black Soul. We're talking about mental health. I mean, it's been a taboo subject, but, you know, we're about to bring it back, man. We need this platform. We need to be able to express our thoughts, and that's what we're here for. So I'm just, I don't know, it just amazes me. It amazes me how touchy this subject is, yet how needed it is. And from my perspective, you know, I deal with, I guess, being in a place that's uncomfortable and being professional. And I always think to myself, how can I be as professional as possible, but still be myself? And I have to detach from who I am sometimes to be what's necessary. Going back and forth, and that causes a lot of stress because I'm not able to be who I am. You know, I want to be able to be me in all environments. And I know it may sound minuscule to somebody who is, you know, maybe part, I guess, what's the term? Not schizophrenic, but the term is slipping my mind right now.
You got it, brother. Keep thinking. Use that mind.
Polarities. You know what I'm saying? It's your polarity.
There it is.
So having that bipolar aspect, just the detaching, you know, detaching and not being able to connect with who you are, always trying to find yourself, you know, dealing with that is stressful. And you have nobody to share that with. And so for me, this is big because it allows me to be who I am. It gives me the platform for somebody who is an introverted extrovert. It gives me the platform, you know, because when I'm zoned in, you can't stop me. But when I can't find my place, I can't even get my footwork right, you know. So there's a time for this, man, and it's now. And so I'm so thankful to Hot Words, Hot Topics for giving us this opportunity, man, just to be a voice. And we're going over our time right now. That's how dope this is. We've been allowed to go over our time. So, man.
Oh, man. So if we got any listeners out there that wanna call in, make sure you push the one to call in.
If I may piggyback on what you said, brother, oftentimes the biggest times where I fell apart was the times that I was depressed and broken, thinking that I didn't have anyone. And to anybody that has faith and courage in their faith, and the understanding that first and foremost, you are someone. Whatever you believe in, whether it's God, Allah, Buddha, whoever, whatever you follow, you are not without anyone. It is often easiest during our mental health struggles for us to isolate so hard that we say, we have no one. We don't have anyone, but you are someone. God is someone. The universe is a someone. There are forces out there that are working towards your benefit and your blessing, just as much as there are things out there working to destroy you. And the things that are there for your benefit and to bring you up are stronger than the things that are there to bring you up.
Well, we got to take a caller in, brother. We got a caller, 8756. What's your name and where you calling from?
Caller, are you there?
8756. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Please, how's everyone today?
How you doing? Thank you for calling in the Free Thought Society. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Khalil. I'm calling from Mississippi.
Could you speak up a little bit for me again?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Khalil, and I'm actually calling from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Okay, Mississippi in the building. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you fellas today?
Doing well. Thank you for calling in. What's on your mind? Khalil from Gulfport, Mississippi.
I like the topic. what people don't realize is mental health is one of those first things that should be addressed in any type of life in itself. Because without your mental, you cannot function properly. And if you don't focus and realize those are the things that allow you to change or have different decisions making, you're not able to grow because you're not planting the seed within your mind itself. And I like how you put the statement of talking about our children. The moment that we say about ourselves that we need fixing, we basically insulate ourselves away from our children. And we're not able to see that we're hindering them too when we isolate ourselves because they're learning by us. And that's actually teaching them to be isolated too if we're not allowing healthy lifestyles for them.
Hey, Kawil, for the sake of the listeners, could you speak closer to the microphone? We can barely hear you on this end, please.
I have you on earphones, so can you hear me now?
Much better.
Okay. I had to put my mouth to the phone.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
I want to ask you all this. What allowed you all to want to talk about that topic? Because this is my first time hearing it here. I was invited to listen. So this is my first time ever asking that question. What allowed you fellas to actually want to pick that topic to talk about?
For me, just going with the flow of life and where we at, and just, again, being honest with where we at in life and how we want to help ourselves. You know, we have to want to help the world in that way too. And this is something that's just been in the works for us. You know, Rob and I, we've been doing this for a while, and it's something that this happens to be what it is. Rob, man, tell her how we got into it, bro.
Yeah, so Selah is an artist musically. I mean, that was his song that was just playing, but I always knew him as an artist, and I didn't know that he was knowledgeable and he was righteous and he wanted to do what was right for the greater good. And when I tapped into that, I had known him for almost a year, and we never even made music. And that was my whole intention when I met him. And so we got to figuring out how we could do something for the community. And the first thing we decided to do was have a book club. And so we physically met every Sunday. And we had people show up, and we had a book club. And it wasn't a book club where we would read a book and you would talk about it and then you would leave.
No.
We would implement it in our lives. How can we implement these principles? The first book we started was As a Man Thinketh, James Allen. It's a very thin, small book, but it's a dope book. It's applicable. It's something that's universally applicable. And so we decided to call it Free Thought Society Book Club. And that was about 3 years ago. So,
man, it's been that long
fast
already?
forward, yeah, about 3 years almost now. Fast forward, man, here we are. So this is a platform now, and I love it because we've advanced, and now we can reach more people. And everybody needs this, from the small things to the things that we can't control. We need to be able to understand mentally how to navigate, you know, and we all need help. Can't do it alone. So here we are, you know, and this has been a crazy ride. I would have never asked for this, you know. Did you? Was this what you were asking for, Selah? What
we ask for comes in many forms, man, that'll lead us to what we ultimately need in our lives, man. And this is something that we have to add to our repertoire, you know what I'm saying, to achieve, you know, ultimately what we're here to do on this earth, you know what I'm saying. So we ask God for things, and God asks us for things. So, you know what I'm saying, I believe that's how it's working. You know what I'm saying? He's going to give us something to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, in the same way that we want God to accomplish some things in our lives, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it, man. You know, if you want to do better, have a better life, you know what I'm saying, you got to get your mind right. And if you want to get your mind right, get other people's mind right, you know what I'm saying? If you're rich, you can only become wealthier by helping those around you as well. So if you want to become rich in mind, you can accomplish that too by helping those around you. You know what I'm saying? Iron sharpens iron, as the Bible says, man. Hey, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man, to Free Thought Society, man. We do this every first Sunday for 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's on the West Coast. 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's on the East Coast. Shout out to South Carolina and all the listeners listening in, the callers from Mississippi, Gulfport, Mississippi. Thank you, Khalil, for calling in. Nathan, we thank everybody. Free Thought Society, man. We're going to be here rocking it out. Oh, and next month is Mental Health Month. Also, it's my birthday, May 7th, so May is going to be a super dope month, man. Mental Health Awareness Month. Make sure you guys tune in, stay tuned in with us. We're going to keep bringing the realness to the airwaves. We're going to keep talking about what people need to hear, what we're bringing to the table. It's, let me not say everybody's not doing it, but the right people are doing it. So get with the right people that's doing it. Stay locked in with them. Help them grow. We're going to all grow each other from where we at. You know what I'm saying? Free Thought Society, man. We're here for the people. We're here for the community. Selah Blak Soul. Rob is rich. We here. Hot words, hot topics, man. Blog Talk Radio. We appreciate y'all.